After 3 months living in North Macedonia, I'm flying back to the UK. And no, it's not because I failed, it's not because I ran out of money, and it's definitely not because I'm quitting. The 90-day visa is up and I legally can't stay here for now. But while I was here, something changed, something that I didn't expect. I realised that if I don't build a solid foundation fast, I'll get dragged right back into the system I worked to escape from. I thought flying home would feel like a win, like I cracked the code. But instead, I felt a second wave of pressure and kind of, the insecurities that you will have when you go along this journey. Like, what if this isn't sustainable? What if this freedom is just an illusion? And what if I have to go back for good? Here is the truth that nobody tells you. Leaving the UK is easy. Staying out, that takes planning. Because without something that funds your freedom, the system will always pull you back in, or at least try. You don't just need a laptop and a cheap Airbnb. You need leverage, you need structure, you need like a scalable system. So if you're thinking about leaving the UK or wherever you are, going remote, building a life with more control, then this video might help you think it through before you take the flight and take the leap of faith. The last 3 months didn't just show me a better way to live. It revealed how fragile my plan was. And now I have to fix it fast because I have less time and not that much time left in terms of savings. So if you're new here, let me just wind you back up a bit. 3 months ago, I was stuck in the UK, stressed, tired, uninspired, just going through the motions, work, bills, taxes, sleep, repeat. And the worst part, I was earning enough to be comfortable, but I knew I never could be free on the wage that I was on, even with promotions eventually. And I started to ask myself, am I really going to do this until I'm retired? Am I really going to do this until I'm 70? Or whatever the retirement age will be once I get there, who knows? It keeps on going up. But I didn't want to look back one day and realise that I traded my best years for stability. My mum passed away from breast cancer when I was about 7. She probably would have been around 37, I believe, years old. When a loss hits you that close to home, I believe it just shifts everything. If you've gone through a family member or a friend that, obviously departed from us too early, it just changes the way you think about life. But even knowing that, life, bills, it sucks you back into the system. And I didn't want to be on my deathbed regretting that I didn't take the risk, especially while I'm still young and healthy. So I booked a one-way ticket with my girlfriend and moved to a place that no one had ever heard about, especially in my circle anyway. North Macedonia, Skopje, the capital. Absolutely beautiful place. Why? Why Skopje, North Macedonia? Because it was affordable, quiet, and close enough to the UK, so home for me. So if everything went wrong, it was just a quick, easy flight back, and not long. And you're on the same time scales, same time zones, so it wasn't that much of a change. But when life at home feels noisy and empty, sometimes all you really need is space. Space to think, space to breathe. Somewhere that reminds you why you took the leap of faith. Some chase their dreams in Dubai, LA, Australia, or even London. God forbid, good luck to you. But those places drain your wallets faster than they deliver results. For me, I don't need more opportunity, if that makes sense. I needed a place where it was value for money and where I could get on with my, I suppose, not so thought about plan. But from day one of arriving here, my life started to improve. We have an apartment which has a great view for just £520 a month. I put it in a previous video, so go have a look if you haven't seen that. I walk to the gym each morning for 5 minutes in the sunshine. I ate healthy most of the time, slept well, and felt so safe. So much safer than you would do in the UK for sure. And for the first time in years, I had space mentally, a bit more financially, and creatively as well. Oops, almost slept. But when was the last time that you had time without pressure, if that makes sense, and just to think about your future? In that stillness, something clicked. It wasn't about just saving money. It was about gaining clarity. And that's when things started to finally click. It took longer than we expected, but after a couple of months here, our online business began gaining some real momentum. It went from becoming an idea, nothing, into something. And that's really special. Together with my girlfriend, who has years of experience in the medical and beauty industry, and myself with a background in sales and over 10 years of hiring international talent for various projects, we launched a remote receptionist agency. What we do is we support service-based businesses whose teams are too busy delivering services to keep up with inbound inquiries, and we also deal with outbound sales also. We source, train, and manage dedicated remote receptionists to handle your calls, all about half the cost of hiring in-house, which is definitely needed in this day and age where people can't afford services because, let's face it, everything is just going up. So we're helping businesses cut costs. There's no HR headaches, no sick days, no paternity leave pay. Sorry for the women out there. But just reliable professional support from someone abroad with a clear, easy to understand accent, which is truly needed, especially for clients in the UK and USA. And a quick plug, if you're someone that's running a service-based business, whatever it is, and this sounds something that you'd be interested in, then feel free to send me a message on any of the social media platforms or an email. Honestly, it's a no-brainer. But coming back to the video, this online business isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's a foundation, it's a system, something that funds a lifestyle and allows me to, hopefully, stay out of the UK for good and long term. But let me be real with you, it wasn't all smooth. At one point, the pipe burst in the apartment. It took about 2 weeks to fix it. There was no running water for days, and we had to wee in a bowl. Yeah, glamorous, I know. We could have asked Airbnb for a refund and changed places, but clearly our hosts relied on the income for their family. So we kind of bit the bullet and powered through it during the time where we visited the most stunning place I've ever been. Check it out in the video before this one. It's Lake Ohrid, absolutely amazing. So yeah, some days we had Wi-Fi issues, but we just used the mobile hotspot to cover that issue. Sometimes ordering food from a takeaway was a little bit tricky. It was kind of like playing a game of international charades if they didn't speak English. So what you do is you take a photo of the menu, you put it into ChatGPT, you get ChatGPT to translate it, see what you want, and then translate it back to the person behind the desk or whatever. So yeah, look, there's always a fix, and with the help of technology now, you can get around with not knowing any language, which is yeah, of course, brilliant. And honestly, look, I felt isolated back in the UK too. It's not just here. You know, I don't have a big social circle back home, just an old few kind of colleagues that I used to work with, and doing anything fun back in the UK usually costs a full day's wages. Here, for example, I watched the North Macedonia versus Belgium football match, soccer to any of the USA American watchers. That ticket to go watch them, you know, proper match, World Cup qualifier I believe it was, £4. What's that, $5? Something like that? £4 for a ticket. At Wembley to go watch England, how much are you spending on a ticket these days? At least what, maybe 10 times that? So yeah, maybe even more, probably more. And then let's say taxi ride to the stadium, which is about a 20-minute journey. It was, again, I think it was about £4. How much is a taxi journey in the UK or America or Australia nowadays for 20 minutes? Definitely more than £4, $5, isn't it? So why are we paying for or overpaying for everything and getting less for it back home? That's when it really started to hit me. Freedom isn't just about geography, it's about leverage. You can escape the UK, you can escape America, you can escape Australia, or wherever you are in the Western world. But are you really leveraging your time, your income, and your energy? Because if you don't build something that sustains, or how do I say it? Yeah, it's something that doesn't sustain you, the system will always pull you back in. So why am I going straight back to the UK and not heading straight to the next country, you might be asking? Because we already planned to from the get-go. This is like a pit stop, a reload, time to tie up loose ends before the next country, or phase 2 I like to call it. So we'll be back in the UK for around about 10 days, picking up essentials, handling paperwork, sorting legal bits for the next residency. And then I'm off to Albania, which is literally right next door to here. And then after Albania, in Albania we'll be there for about 3 months. We'll go in somewhere really, really special, and that kind of somewhere that will push me more and hopefully gives me more leverage and helps me build a real base that I could potentially call home. I'll let you know in the future where that would be. I think you'll find it quite interesting. But here's a tip. If you're thinking of leaving, don't burn the bridges too soon, if that makes sense. So start close. Start with shorter flights, similar time zones to where you're from. But just somewhere where it's lower costs, easier transitions, because when your family asks you why you're leaving, just say, don't worry, I'll be back in a few months, even if it might not be. What it does, it just makes it easier for them and for you. Because the hardest part of it all isn't about the money, isn't about the relocation at the time, it's more about the psychology. When you tell people you're leaving, chasing something different, what do they really say to you? I'm not sure if you had this experience before yourself, but you know, if you've been through it, is it supportive? Is it like, do they give you the silent treatment or just kind of change topic really quickly? Or are they sometimes a little bit critical? Now, if they do that, don't take it personally. Most people don't want you to, or most people don't want to watch someone do what they were afraid to do, if that makes sense. Most of the times, the closest people pull you away, not because they don't care or don't want the best for you, but because they just don't understand and they want the best for you, especially family. Or worse, deep down, they're afraid that you'll exceed and they never even tried. But yeah, in these last 3 months, the lessons that I've learned about moving abroad and leaving the UK is I learned that peace is productive. The pressure kills creativity. That time is your most valuable currency. And freedom, it's not just a place, it's a system. Creating income online isn't just about money. It's about foundation or location freedom, tax flexibility, and long-term leverage. And if nothing changes, where will you be a year from now or 5 years from now? So yeah, I'm flying back to the UK, but I'm not going back to the system, hopefully, just yet, or never. But yeah, this is just a pit stop, it's just a reset, and then I'm back out again. Next up, Albania. After that, somewhere further, somewhere harder, and somewhere that will make me a better person and help me build something great. So if you're thinking of doing the same, then yeah, please like and subscribe and follow the journey so you can learn from my lessons, and keep in touch with me in the comments. Let me know what you get up to. But one last thing before you go. In a world that punishes freedom, especially nowadays, your only option is to build freedom. Build it brick by brick, system by system, country by country. So yeah, let's go.